Hi, welcome to Plymouth Library. I'm the librarian here at Plymouth Congregational Church in downtown Seattle, and today I'm going to share some tips with you on storytelling. Now, why tell stories to children? Well, the best reason is that it's fun, but also it's a great way to develop listening skills in children, help them develop imagination, and also develop verbal skills. Also, cultures around the world have always told stories to their children to teach them how to behave. So if you think about all the classic folk and fairy tales, you'll remember that they all have a moral. Now, you can find good stories to tell in books like this one, The Little Red Hen, or you may already know some by heart, like The Three Little Kittens Who Lost Their Mittens, and they began to cry, "Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have lost." "What, lost your mittens, you bad little kittens? Then you shall have no pie." Meow, meow, meow. Well, the three little kittens found their mittens, and so their mother gave them pie, and unfortunately they wore their mittens to eat the pie. So, "Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have soiled." And of course their mother was very upset about that. And on goes the story. That story has some key features of a really good storytelling story. And it has what I call the 3 R's: rhyme, rhythm, and repetition. Also, you'll notice that along with 3 R's, there were 3 little kittens. And think of all the other stories that have 3's in them. The 3 Billy Goats Gruff, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. I brought 3 bears here to listen to my story. There's Daddy Bear, Mommy Bear, and Baby Bear. But I'm going to tell you a story later about 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. Now, I showed you this book, The Little Red Hen. It only has 1 little red hen, but it still has 3 things. It has a lot of repetition. You probably know the story. It's about the little red hen who kept doing all sorts of things and asking for help. She says, "Who will make a cake from this fine white flour?" "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. So she made it herself, and I'm not going to give away the end of the story. If you're using a story from a book, read the story aloud before you're ready to tell the story. Does it sound good? Does it have rhythm? Or is it too wordy? When you're happy with the sound, try to tell the story in your own way, remembering chants and songs and phrases that are important to the story. Practice, practice, practice. So, here is an example, and I am going to be interrupting the story from time to time to give you some tips. So it's a story about 1, 2, 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. I only have 1 pig puppet, and I've only got 2 hands anyhow. So this pig is going to take 3 parts. First, this pig is going to be the first little pig. Pig number 1. So we start the story with once upon a time. There were 3 little pigs who set out to find their fortune. And as he was trotting along, the first little pig saw a man with a bundle of straw. And he thought, that bundle of straw would make a great house for me. So he bought the straw and he went home and he built the house. It didn't take him very long. It was pretty easy to do. He was just sitting down to enjoy a football game on TV when, knock, knock, knock on the door. Little pig, let me come in." "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in, said the big bad wolf. So the big bad wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew the house in. And this is where you get to change the story. As you probably know, the big bad wolf came in and he ate up the first little pig, but some people don't like that. When I was a school librarian and I would tell this story to a group of kids, I would have the big bad wolf blow the house in, and then the little pig would run off, never to be seen again. So you get to choose. Now, back to the story. So the second little pig was walking along, and he saw a man with a bundle of sticks, and he thought those sticks would make a wonderful house. So he bought the sticks and he built the house. It took him a little longer to build a house of sticks than it would have taken him to build a house of straw. But it was pretty easy, and he was just hanging curtains at his window when, little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So the big bad wolf huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed and he blew the house in, and away went the little pig, never to be seen again. Now the third little pig had learned something from the two other pigs. He had decided that he needed to build a really sturdy house to keep out big bad wolves. So he bought a bunch of bricks and he spent days and days and days building his house. Finally he was done, and he was sitting down for a well-deserved cup of tea when, knock, knock, knock. Little pig, let me come in. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. So the big bad wolf huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but he couldn't blow the house in. Okay, another decision point. Is that big bad wolf just going to slink away with his tail between his legs and never be seen again? Or is he going to climb up onto the roof of the house with the idea of coming down the chimney and getting that little pig and eating him up? Well, if he does that, then this little pig, who was smart enough to build a sturdy house, is also smart enough to get a big pot of water, and he puts it on the fire. And when the big bad wolf comes down the chimney, the third little pig has wolf stew for dinner. So that's the end of the big bad wolf and the end of my storytelling program.